You land on your porch on a quiet afternoon, and there he is. A single European robin, perched on the handle of your garden spade. His bright orange breast stands out against the grey wood. He tilts his head, fixing you with a dark, glassy eye. You take a step back. He flies closer. You move to the other side of the yard, and within moments, a soft rustle in the ivy reveals he has followed you. It feels intimate. It feels deliberate. Most people who experience this assume the bird is simply bold, begging for a few loose mealworms, or acting out of a vague, curious instinct. We tell ourselves it is just a charming quirk of backyard nature. But the reality behind why this specific bird chooses to shadow your footsteps is far more calculated, deeply ancient, and remarkably stranger than science popularizers ever let on. What is actually happening in the mind of that robin as he tracks your movement is a masterclass in evolutionary opportunism mixed with a sensory awareness humans lost millennia ago. Today, you will learn that this creature is not just watching you. He is using you as a giant, unwitting tool to unlock secrets hidden beneath the soil. Stay with us until the very end of this investigation, because the final discovery we uncover connects this tiny backyard visitor to the Earth's deepest magnetic forces, changing the way you look at the sky above your house forever. Welcome back to Wild Mindset. If you want to understand the invisible patterns of the natural world that most people walk right past, press the subscribe button right now. What you are about to discover happens every time you step into your garden, completely unnoticed by your neighbors, and it will fundamentally reshape how you perceive every small creature that crosses your path. Today, we are pulling back the veil on the silent observer of your yard, traveling deep into the sensory world of the robin to find out why you were chosen. Make sure to stay until the final chapter, because the ultimate mechanism behind their behavior operates on a scale so vast it bridges the gap between quantum physics and ancient instinct. To truly understand the robin following you, we must first look at the extreme physiological reality of the individual bird. The European robin weighs barely 16 grams. That is roughly the weight of a single tablespoon of sugar. Yet, inside this fragile, feathered frame beats a heart that cycles up to 1,000 times per minute when active. This hyper-accelerated metabolism comes at a terrifying cost. A robin is always living on the absolute edge of existence. During a crisp autumn day or a freezing winter night, a robin must consume up to 1/3 of its body weight every single day just to keep its internal furnace burning. To a 16-gram bird, a frozen plot of land or a heavily compacted lawn is not just an obstacle. It is a concrete wall separating them from survival. They cannot dig through thick clay or heavy thatch with their delicate, slender beaks. Enter the human. When you walk through your yard, turn over a patch of soil, or pull up old roots, your massive frame performs a miracle for the robin. You act as a benevolent megafauna. In the deep history of Europe, robins did not follow humans. They followed wild boars, taming rivers of mud, and giant stags breaking the forest floor. As those massive mammals became scarce, the robin adapted its psychology with radical precision. It mapped its ancient megafauna instinct directly onto you. When you garden, you are not a person to them. You are a living bulldozer, turning over stones and exposing the microscopic world of invertebrates that their tiny claws could never reach. This reliance on intense focus creates an incredible contrast in how these birds interact with each other. During the bright hours of the day, the robin is one of the most fiercely territorial and aggressively antisocial creatures in your entire neighborhood. The beautiful, melancholic song you hear them sing from the highest branch is not a peaceful melody. It is a sonic fence line. A male robin will defend his tiny patch of earth with a level of violence that seems impossible for a bird of its size. If another robin enters that space, the peaceful garden resident transforms. They will puff out their orange chests, sway menacingly, and engage in brutal physical combat that can leave rivals blind or fatally wounded. They utterly despise company. Yet, when the harsh reality of winter sets in, the social rules of the species completely invert in the dark. On the coldest nights, when the energy budget becomes a matter of life and death, these solitary warriors are forced into a reluctant truce. Researchers have found that robins will occasionally abandon their daytime hatred and gather in loose, quiet communal roosts hidden deep within the thickest holly bushes or dense ivy tangles. They do not touch or huddle like bluebirds, but they suspend their warfare. The calculation is cold and exact. Daytime isolation ensures food dominance, but nighttime proximity ensures collective survival by keeping an array of eyes open for predators. The moment the first light touches the yard, the truce vanishes instantly, and the territorial borders are drawn in blood once again. While you are moving through your garden thinking about your day, the robin trailing you is operating within a completely different layer of reality. Their world is not made of simple sights and sounds. It is a vibrating, high-definition sensory network. A robin possesses a visual processing speed that makes human sight look like slow motion. They can perceive the tiny, microscopic tremors of the earth caused by a beetle moving beneath 3 inches of soil. When they tilt their head while watching you, they are not just looking at you with curiosity. They are aligning their specialized eyes to filter out the glare of the sky, focusing their binocular vision on the exact spot where your foot just disturbed the dirt. Furthermore, their hearing is tuned to an exquisite frequency. They can hear the low-pitched, rhythmic scratching of earthworms shifting through subterranean tunnels. The yard you see as static and still is, to the robin, a roaring highway of biological movement. By standing near you, they use your massive shadow to block out the harsh, blinding sunlight, allowing their ultra-sensitive eyes to detect the subtle color shifts of insects trying to blend into the freshly turned earth. They are piggybacking on your presence, transforming your physical space into a specialized hunting lens. This brings us to a profound break from popular myth. For decades, traditional folklore and popular science books have repeated the same comforting narrative. They claim that robins are inherently trusting, gentle creatures that have developed a unique, evolutionary affection for human beings. We see them on Christmas cards and in children's books as symbols of domestic peace and companionship. But modern avian behavioral science has completely shattered this romantic illusion. The robin is not your friend. It is an apex opportunist performing a high-stakes risk assessment every single second it spends near you. The bird knows exactly how dangerous you are. Its brain is constantly weighing the probability of you crushing it against the probability of finding a high-energy meal in your wake. It maintains an exact, mathematically precise flight initiation distance. If you move too fast, the illusion of friendship shatters instantly, and the bird vanishes. It is a relationship built purely on cold, calculated exploitation. They have simply learned to read human body language better than almost any other wild animal on the planet. They know that a human with a tool in their hand is distracted and productive, making them the perfect asset to exploit. It is not affection. It is a beautiful, ruthless strategy for staying alive. But there is a final, breathtaking dimension to this behavior that elevates the story of the robin far beyond the borders of your backyard. To understand why this bird can navigate your yard and track your presence with such uncanny precision year after year, we have to look up into the sky and out into the cosmos. Many of the robins you see in your garden during the colder months are not local residents. They are long-distance travelers that have migrated hundreds of miles from the dense forests of Scandinavia or the Baltic regions. To accomplish this staggering journey across open seas and darkened continents, the tiny robin utilizes a superpower that borders on the supernatural. Inside the right eye of the robin sits a specialized class of proteins called cryptochromes. These proteins are magnetically sensitive. When blue light hits the robin's eye, it triggers a quantum reaction known as radical pairs. This reaction allows the robin to literally see the Earth's magnetic field lines mapped across the landscape like highways of glowing light. They are not navigating by landmarks or memory alone. They are piloting their tiny bodies through a shifting ocean of planetary energy. When that robin lands back in your yard in the spring or autumn, it has used the very core of the Earth's molten heart to find the exact same garden spade it sat on the year before. When the sun begins to dip below the horizon, the yard changes. The tools are put away. The spade is left leaning against the shed. The human steps inside, closing the door on the cooling air. And outside, the robin retreats into the deepest recesses of the hedge. The orange breast fades into the shadows. The large, dark eye closes halfway, entering that state of distributed awareness where one half of the brain sleeps while the other watches for the owl. The yard looks empty. It looks completely still. But it is not empty. It is simply concealed. The tiny, 16-gram predator is waiting out the cold, conserving the precious fat reserves it gathered by following you around all afternoon. It is holding on to life by a thread of pure instinct, guided by quantum mechanics and ancient history. The next time you step outside and find that familiar companion waiting for you on a branch, you will know that it is not a random encounter. You will know that you are standing in the presence of an ancient lineage that has decoded human behavior to survive. You are part of their ecosystem, a giant creature helping a fragile miracle live to see another morning. Tell me in the comments below, has a specific bird ever followed you in your yard, or have you noticed a wild animal watching you in a way that felt entirely deliberate? I want to read your stories. I read every single one. I will see you in the next video.